Have you ever laid awake at night and wondered, or even worse, been sitting in traffic, gripping your steering wheel, shaking, cussing, and wondered what possesses people, especially around here, to drive like they do, like maniacs that have extra lives? Or sat around and wondered why people jump out of perfectly good aircraft on purpose, or God forbid, put their life savings into hock to a coin? The answer to that might actually be in your cat's litter box as we speak, due to a parasite known as Toxoplasma gondii, which is the super Latin name of the parasite that causes the condition known as toxoplasmosis in humans. Now, toxoplasmosis is a condition that can infect any mammal, really, but it primarily affects cats, humans, and cattle. Why cats, you might ask? Because that's the only place within the digestive tract of cats that it can reproduce. And once it is in its host, any host, it has the ability to rewire the neural framework. And not only that, to essentially control the mind of its host, even subtly. So before we get into that, let's start with the history. It was discovered in 1908 and was largely unremarkable. I mean, it was just another parasite living in the intestines of an animal. Why would anyone really care? Unfortunately, in 1923, we figured out why. In 1923, it caused the death of a 2-year-old infant due to intracranial swelling, that is, swelling of the brain. And during the autopsy, it was determined that a toxoplasmosis infection caused the child's death. And not only that, but that the child had been infected due to a congenital condition of toxoplasmosis. That is, it was passed from the child's mother to the child. Now, this was a time of the Spanish flu, right before the Depression, right before World War II. I mean, a lot more important stuff was going on than, this parasite from your cat's poop might kill your kid. Unfortunately, it wasn't really studied again until the middle 90s, when Dr. Joanne Webster infected it into white mice. Now, you might know about white mice. The reason that they're used in scientific studies is that they have an extremely similar cerebral makeup, we'll say, to humans. Their brains are very similar. Their brain chemistry is very similar. Dr. Webster discovered that once infected with this virus, not only did these mice lose their fear of their natural predators, that is house cats, they actually became sexually attracted to the scent of cat urine, which is pretty weird even in the days of lonely guys buying bath water from e-girls. That's pretty weird, right? What's worse is when you contemplate the implications of that, right? This virus, or this parasite rather, once it infects its host, causes the host to feed itself to the cat so the virus can replicate. It mind controls that mouse to be eaten so that it can replicate, right? That shows the level of control. It overrides that mouse's entire, how shall we say, self-preservation instinct that is present in every animal just innately, right? That's pretty weird. However, 10 years later, Dr. Jaroslav Lager, which is an even harder name to say, he was a European scientist who discovered the effects of toxoplasmosis on humans. Not only can it infect infants, as we talked about before, by causing birth defects and later infections, the illness, once it infects adult humans, caused an increased desire to, how should we say, engage in dangerous and high-risk behavior. It made women more suggestible, it made men more aggressive, and overall it made the people more suggestible, easier to control, just like the mouse. And just like the mouse, it overrode their self-preservation instincts, which is why they were willing to engage in higher risk behavior. This is distressing enough that it can do that to people, and it just comes from the intestines of your adopted little cat, right? What's worse this infection is largely undetectable. So once it gets into the human body, it spreads, and your immune system, as it should, begins to attack this. And you can think of it kind of as soldiers that are under fire. They, instead of fighting back because they know they'll lose against your immune system, very much like herpes, it embeds itself, it kind of digs a trench like a soldier does, builds a bunker in your muscular tissue, your neural tissue, really anywhere in your body that it was when the immune system began to attack it, in your optic nerves, everywhere. And from there, it waits. It's a very patient disease. It'll wait for your immune system to ever fail. If you get AIDS or cancer, or you get an organ transplant, you get immunosuppressants, any of that. And it can rear its ugly head and attack aggressively because it's been waiting, right? And at that point, it can cause anything from death to paralysis to blindness to anything in people. That's the extreme case. The average case, when studied, toxoplasmosis was found to double or triple your risk of contracting schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, or die in a high-risk lifestyle accident, we'll say. Anything from car wrecks to overdoses to skydiving accidents. People have been found disproportionately that die in those high-risk behaviors to have been infected with toxoplasmosis. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, it can make me want to do more dangerous things. It can make me less risk averse. It can make me want to do all these different things, but I'm safe. I don't have cats. My mom doesn't have cats. That's where you might be wrong. So it can be contracted by eating undercooked meat. So if you, like me, like your steak rare, I'm sorry. But undercooked meat, gardening, having a cat, being around somebody that has a cat, any of those. Now, that litany of ways that it can be contracted have led to CDC studies to see, okay, just how many people actually have this, you know? And it was discovered that anywhere from 11 to 30% of people in the United States suffer from toxoplasmosis or are infected with it. Now, to give you an idea of that, that is, if you pull together 10 of your friends, anywhere from 1 to 3 of them generally will have this disease. And that's anywhere from 34 to 100 million people nationwide. Now, the WHO, once they caught wind of this, said, okay, let's see how many people worldwide have it, because not everywhere has our hygiene or access to hygiene products, right? 30 to 40% of people worldwide, 2 to 4 billion people. If you pull together 10 random people worldwide, chances are that anywhere from 2 to 4 of them will have this illness. So there's a 1 in 10 chance or a 3 in 10 chance that you have it right now, if you're American. So let's look at the downstream implications of this, right? If we say, okay, anywhere from 10 to 30% of fatal car accidents happen due to toxoplasmosis, that would lead to 31,500 deaths per year. More people are infected with toxoplasmosis than are infected with depression, with anxiety, with asthma, with diabetes, and you've never heard of it because it doesn't kill like COVID in a dramatic fashion. Somebody's, trigger warning, somebody's on a ventilator, or like cancer, somebody's getting this treatment and they waste away, right? It doesn't kill like a common criminal leaving its fingerprints for everyone to find. It kills like Hillary Clinton. It kills covertly, subtly, with some plausible deniability. Oh, they died in a car crash. It wasn't because they were going 150 miles an hour due to a lack of inhibition caused by this cat poop virus, right? So we've looked at the individual parts of this, but let's look at it as a whole. This is a legitimate, slow-moving epidemic, right? And you've never heard of it, chances are, unless you're a nerd like me. You've never heard of it. Nobody's ever warned you about it. Everyone's like, it's common sense to wash your hands after you clean your cat's litter box, but no one's ever told you, hey, that might lead to you becoming schizophrenic, right? That'll triple your chances of becoming schizophrenic if you become infected with this. No one's ever told you that. Bill Gates isn't on TV advertising a vaccine for it, right? If this was as conspicuous as COVID, Anthony Fauci would be on CNN right now saying, oh, get you another vaccine, you know, you gotta get the jab. But he's not, because this kills subtly. It kills covertly, like I say. And it is entirely possible that right now, as you watch this, it's in your brain. It is eating away at your amygdala, your hypothalamus. It is telling you, we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about driving fast. We don't need to worry about gambling, right? And you would never know. And it is all from that cute little tabby that you rescued from the clinic or the shelter. All from that. And you would never have any idea until it was too late. So good luck sleeping tonight, and thank you.